There are times that we have to just go by our instinct. We have to go by our growth. So, when I was a classroom teacher, and this was my early days of being in a particular school, and I was the only African American woman teaching in that department. I knew I was hired because of the color of my skin, not because of my ability, because I was brand new to teaching altogether. Like, just finished taking classes, and now I am actually trying to go after a position that I know a little bit, but not as confident as I am now. So, when I was hired, even the very first day of school, I was called so many different names. Most of the names that we know, but I don't want to repeat. And I remember there was this one particular gentleman that was kind of like wishy-washy about me. But then it was back to school night when the parents come and they visit their kids' schedules and, just see their classrooms, meet their teachers. And I remember that when I walked in, I introduced myself, and then all of a sudden, you can kind of hear the murmurs. Because a lot of the parents didn't understand. This is probably their very first time seeing an African American woman teaching their children. And a lot of the students actually said to me, "You're my very first black teacher. I want to see how this is going to go." Because no one knew. My colleagues didn't know. My principal didn't know. None of the kids or the parents knew what was I capable of. But I knew who I was. And I knew that I would basically give my all to make sure that the students understand the concepts, not just enough, but go above and beyond. So at the end of my usual speech of nervousness as I'm introducing myself to parents, some looked at me with a kind of lovely eyes. But this one particular parent, as he walked by me, he just said, "I'm never going to let a N-word teach my kids." It was first period, and I had 3 more periods to go. And I'm like, all right, guess this is where we're going. But then the very next day, it was a Friday, I noticed the kid was missing out of my class. Interesting. Kept going on with the day. And then on Monday, all of a sudden the kid comes, runs in my classroom, but I did get information that he switched classes. So here he is Monday morning. He comes in the classroom like normal, and I'm like, "Yo, dude, think they changed your schedule." He was like, "Yeah, alright." And he leaves. Tuesday comes. Same thing. Walks into my classroom. I'm like, "What are you doing? They changed your schedule, dude." He's like, "Yeah, I don't like her, but reluctantly walks out. Wednesday comes. I looked to talk to a student, turned around, and there he was. And I just looked. Didn't even say anything, just looked at him. He's like, "I don't like that teacher. It's boring in there. It's this, it's that, and all this other things." And I'm like, "But that's what you have to do. You change your schedule. That's where you have to go for class." And then this time, he just looked at me, and it wasn't anger. It was like, "Save me." So then, here we go on Thursday. Kid comes in, and I stopped him at the door. And he was like, "Oh." I'm like, "No, listen to me." And then everybody went to the classroom, and I started the quiz. I'm like, "Hey, guys, get yourself situated. Do it on the board, blah, blah, blah." So I went to the kid, and I'm like, "You know what? Come here. You see that seat right there?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was pointing to where he usually sits. I'm like, "That's your seat. If you want your seat, I'm going to give you a pass to the counselor's office to get your schedule changed back." He was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, so I wrote the pass out. Here you go. Go direct. I'm going right there now. Start doing my class. 10 minutes later, announcement. "Excuse me, Miss Codner. When you get a chance, can you please see me in the counselor's office?" I'm like, "Of course," because I knew that was coming. Then I went to the counselor's office after class. Everybody was going, "All right." I'm like, "Hi, How you doing? She's like, hi. This person came and but their parents, and I was like, I'll take the responsibility. Please change your schedule. Because I gave her the long and short of what just happened. He came to my classroom. He wants to be in my classroom. The father basically said, and I told her what he said to me as he mumbled as he walked out of my room for back to school night. And she's like, oh. And I know it's hard. It's a hard place for you, but I think this is the best thing for him. So when changed the schedule, got into my class Friday, happy as I don't know what. Not that side eye look, I don't know what you're up to. Now he's looking at me, he's attentive, he's participating, he's bought in. It was something that I had to do. And yes, I went against the parents. But sometimes it's like, not all parents do everything correctly. And sometimes you have to make those decisions. Sometimes you just have to basically step up. And to fast forward, that kid got an A in my class. And I don't just give out A's like, oh, you did work. Oh, okay, great. Oh, you turned something in, you got an A. No, you have to do work in my class. I want you to be the best version of you possible. That was his first A in math ever because he had other teachers. And then he was like, they're not your class. Like, I can't learn in that class. Like, can you teach her how to do this? And the whole reason why I'm sharing that story is not just because a lot of people, disagreed with Juneteenth, whatever. You have to make decisions against the grains at times. And sometimes the decision for you to start paying attention to you is what you need to do. Because I know a lot of us, when it comes down to making the decision to go after your GED, making that decision to sit down and study for the ASVAT, even though you have taken the exam or the practice test like multiple times, you have to make that decision. And sometimes you have to go against your friends, holidays, times away from family. You're just taking an hour. They're making it seem like you're taking eternity away. And when I made that decision to bring that kid back into my class because I saw that that kid needed a teacher and I was the teacher for the job. That's why when you guys are struggling and you're DM me like, I need to get this GED, I don't know how to get this. I'm trying to get the T's test for some reason. I don't understand the algebra. I never understood it when I was in school, and I sure as hell don't understand it now because it's been a huge gap. That's why I write books. And I put videos and QR codes so you can get me as a tutor whenever it works for you. So this is why I'm here. And if you're wondering, who is this chick? My name is Audrey Codner. And I'm the owner of Math by Audrey and ACG Math Tutoring. And I'm here to help people, especially 30 plus, that are going back to school and you're trying to get your degree or you're trying to get accreditation and you need to take an algebra class like the GED, the ASVAT, the Accuplacer, the TEAS test, the HESI test, maybe even the preps for the ACT and the SAT. Anything that deals with algebra, we're going to break down. Okay, that's you? Good. Do I teach SAT? Yes, I do. Not here, but I do tutor SAT. Because a lot of people don't understand. The reason why you struggle is because your foundation is weak. There's a lot of gaps in there. It could have been a time that you were really sick, or maybe your parents had to pull you out, or maybe you were like an army brat and you had to go traveling all over the world, and who knows? But every time you move a day away from class, you are missing stuff. It used to drive me crazy when I was in the classroom and people asked me, Why? Did I miss anything? And I'm like, yeah. Anytime you're in class. But I think the one thing that really hurts us is word problems. And especially anything dealing with distance, rate, and time and age problems. They love, especially the ASVAT, they love those age problems. So, what I'm going to be doing today is breaking down step by step how to do one of those age word problems. Because it's not because you are illiterate when it comes to being able to read a problem. You can. But when you see a paragraph this big, your brain just says, nope. Because you're trying to suck in every detail of the word problem. No. Stop reading word problems like it's a Harlequin novel. And then he went into the castle and he went up the stairs with his chakamocha. And then all of a sudden he sees a friend. And then how old is Sally? Who the hell is Sally? Where does Sally come from? No idea. So when we're looking at these age problems, I want to break it down step by step. You got to look at it like a detective, not like a novelist. All right. So this is what we're going to be doing. I'm glad that you guys are here, nice and early. Um, so let's break this down. I've been trying to make this thing clear all day, all morning. Okay, finally, it's a little bit clearer. Okay. So we have Angie is 6 years older than Heather. 6 years ago, Angie was twice as old as Heather was. How old is Heather? All right. First off, one, how are you feeling about this problem? Write it into the chat. How are you feeling about this problem? Do you feel good? I think I can get it. Or, not at all. Okay, how are you feeling about this problem? Is it accessible? Is it okay? Do you know where to start? Do you not know where to start? Okay, this only way that we can tackle this thing called word problems is basically hit it at the source. What is the source of the word problem? Okay. And if you're not sure, you feel cool, Thomas? All right, thank you. All right. I know a lot of people are like, I'm working out the problem. That's not what I'm asking. Okay. If you're not sure, put a question mark because that tells me how deep I need to go. Because I mean, I can just sit here and talk, but I want to know how deep I need to go. Okay. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you for your honesty. Okay. So we're not too sure where to start. All right. Okay, Mr. Reynolds. It's like you feel okay about it. I read it 3 times. Okay. All right. All right. So let's take a look. All right. You're saying one person saying it's B. Elizabeth saying cool. Okay. Another person saying 18. All right. So let's take a look. We have 2 people, which makes it so much easier. All right. So we got Ange. You can tell I'm from Philly. Ange. And then we have Heather. All right, so Big Ange, this is what's happening. So Ange is 6 years older than Heather. That's information that we know. So we're making this association with Ange. But here's my thing. Did they say anything about Heather? Okay. Did they say anything about Heather? Right now, everything is basically related to Ange, but they want us to find out how old is Heather. So sometimes with the age problems, I like to work backwards. So, one, I need to have something to represent each person. So, how old is Heather? We don't know what Heather is, so we can put like an X, I'll put an H, okay, for Heather. But we know that Ange is 6 years older than Heather. So if it's 6 years older, that will be H plus 6. Okay? Okay, a lot of people think it's B. Some people think it's 12. Some people said, oh, one person is definitely not 25. There you go, Zach. I like how you do process elimination. Awesome. So this is what's happening. But now we have this other part. The second part says 6 years ago. Okay, so if it's 6 years ago, are we adding or subtracting? Put it in the chat. 6 years ago, are we adding or subtracting? Okay, so look how we got subtracting. Jerome got subtracting, Zach subtraction, and we got Reynolds subtract, yes. So now we're going to work on what's happening 6 years ago. If this is happening now, 6 years ago means we're going to subtract 6. So this comes into play. So we brought where they are now with the 6 years ago. But there's something else. So they're saying Ange was twice as old as Heather. Now this is crucial. Where am I going to put back then, ago, right? Where am I going to put now twice? I know twice is multiplying by 2. Which one of these two expressions am I going to multiply by 2? Okay, so it's right. Not then, back then, twice as old as the focus. Oh, is the focus. Okay, thank you, Jerome. So who's carrying the twice? Is it going to be the first one or the second one? We can do that. Okay. Plus is saying the first. Okay. Boondock saying the first. Saying the first. So Ange was twice as old as Heather. The first or the second? This is a teacher-led problem for you. But if you were to take a guess, because it's all in the wording, Angie was twice as old as Heather was. Okay? This is Zach saying H. Alex is saying first. A little question. Okay? So this is the twist. Ready? It's actually the second. Let me explain. So we have Angie was twice as old as Heather was. This is when Heather was. So Angie was twice as old as Heather was. So that means we're multiplying this expression right here by 2. Now, how we incorporate Angie and Heather with this is that means we're going to set these two expressions together. Okay? So, but this one up here, we can simplify a little bit, can't we? All right? So we have positive 6 and negative 6. Positive 6 and negative 6. I have $6. I spent $6. That means now I'm broke as hell. All right? So now, up here for Ange, it's going to represent our H. So I'm going to put that H over here. And we're going to compare it with Heather. Now, just like we see here, H minus 6, well, they're not like terms, and we cannot put them together. But what we can do is distribute this 2 to everything inside of this bracket, aka parenthesis. So 2 times H gives us 2H minus, and a lot of people will say 6. No, 2 times 6, 12. Okay, there we go. There we are. So now we want to solve this equation for H. So let's do this. Let me push it up here. So we want to solve this equation for H, but right now we got H's on both sides of the equal sign. In order for us to solve an equation, that means we're isolating the variable. What should we do to get H on one side of the equal sign? Put that into the chat, please. Okay, what should we do next to isolate our X? Okay, not division yet, guys, because right now we got an H on one side and an H on the other side of the equal sign. So subtract H from both sides. Okay, if I move this H over here, there'll be nothing over here. So we always got to balance it out. We could add the 12, but we're adding an extra step. All right, we're not going to multiply the 2H. Multiply 2H reciprocal on each side. We could do that. If like some people like to do with the fractions. Okay, take out the H, add the 12, add the 12. And I think you're wanting to add the 12 because a lot of you guys are afraid of negatives. Am I right? All right. So, cut to the chase. Yes. Subtract the 2H. But I don't like negatives. You don't like broccoli either, but you eat it. Okay. So, we have a positive 2H and a negative 2H. They cancel out to give me 0. But I don't need that 0 as a placeholder because I still have this negative 12. So now we have an H minus 2H. Remember, if you just see the H, it's assumed to be a 1 in front. So now we got 1 minus 2. Think of it this way. You owe me $2. You paid me $1. That means you still owe me $1. Right? There you go, Eric. All right. So now, good. Now we want to get a positive H, not a negative. So that's why it's always assumed that it's a 1 there. So we're going to divide by -1. So -1 divided by -1 gives me 1H, or just H. And then negative divided by negative will give me a positive 12. All right. What does this mean? What does this mean? What does the H equals 12 mean? Where I get the H minus 6? Because this is the person's age. This was Heather's age 6 years ago. So we're subtracting. Yes, she was 12. We plugged 12 for Heather. Yes, that's Heather, 12. Good. All right. Now, you got an answer. Anytime you get an answer, she got the answer. But we always have to go back to the question because sometimes they'll say, all right, how old is Ange? And we did all this work for Heather. But we are answering this question, how old is Heather now? If Heather is represented with the letter H and we got H is equal to 12, so some of you guys earlier said that the answer was B. Okay, it's actually going to be A. Hey, Lynette. Yes, right. Because we already took care of the 6 years ago. Because we did this step and we simplified here, we already took care of the years ago. What you're finding is the 12 of what's happening today. Okay? So if Heather is 12, ooh, that was crazy. If Heather is 12, that means Ange is going to be what? 6 years older. The 18 is representing Ange or Angie. Okay? All right. All right. That's all right. That's all right. Good. But see, the main part about this is how did we go from verbiage to expressions? Notice we took it step by step. We didn't like try to take on the whole novel. We didn't try to say, oh, okay, let me go here and there and all that stuff. This is actually a question that's inside my books because I know we deal with word problems a lot. So, especially when I get to like volume 2, and we're doing a lot of distance, rate, and time problems. We're doing a lot of age problems. We're doing a lot of proportion problems, figuring out ratios. All right. So, a lot of these things are going to come into fruition, but we just have to know how to break it down. Because I'm going to be truthful, guys, no one's ever taught you how to break down or think through a problem. They just tell you all of this, but didn't know about this part. Okay? 12 seemed too obvious. I know, but generally has to. So, this is where it comes and stems into the whole problem of words have operation, they have power. There's going to be times that we're going to have to look at some other phrases and figure out what exactly are they talking about so you have a good idea of where to start. All right. So as we go to the next part, go ahead. If you like the lives, that'll be awesome. Go ahead and keep tapping. Um, if you are like, hey, I really want a lot more of this because I have that test coming up, I do have a sale going on right now for Juneteenth, which is all my digital products, which is volume 1 for Algebra at Your Pace, which deals with integers, decimals, fractions, exponents, and then volume 2 with the functions, factors, ratio, and order of operations. That's the instructional piece. The other part that I'm giving is my 210 question practice exams. You need to practice the way you're going to assess. And when you do all this, you basically are sitting down and you're practicing. But see, a lot of people, this is what you guys do wrong. You try to practice before you know the instruction. Some of you guys haven't seen this stuff in years. And you're expected to remember everything from what, 1980, 1990, 2010? Hell, I can't even remember what I did last weekend. Okay. Can I pan up? Is this it? Okay. You're going to go for your GED right now? Awesome, Heather. Please make sure you message me. Okay. So, yes, I come on here to show you a couple of things, but I do have a sale going on. It's $27. It's normally $42, but just this weekend alone, you get those two plus the practice exam book. of 210 practice problems, all for $27. It's a steal. I'm never going to have a sale like this ever again. So you have until like 11:59 on Sunday. So if you really want it, the link is in my profile. Okay? Awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to extend on this. Okay? We're going to extend on this. So we're going to talk a little bit more about certain phrases and how can you translate it. This is the part that you need. So if I give you this, there we go. 8 less than 3 times a number. I paid for the summer packet. Will I get the book like that? Yes. Yep. So you will get, would you get it like that? Or are you taking a physical book, or are you talking digital? Because all this is going to be digital. Okay, my physical books are on the A. I think that's what you're talking about. Okay, meme. Hello, meme. Saying 3x minus 8. Okay, so if you think you know what this is, go ahead and put it in the chat. 8 less than 3 times a number. Hello, Big Al. Good morning. So 3x minus 8. Okay. I know, it's been a minute, meme. Okay, Mr. Reynolds, we're saying 3xt minus 8. Why the x? Is the x a variable, or is there x multiplication? Okay, I have to be a little hard with this part. Okay. All right. Choose God First is saying 8 minus 3x. Hello, Choose God First. How are you? Okay, Tyler is saying 3x minus 8. Could be 3 minus 8 times x. Whip, we're going to talk about that in a moment. Okay, Crystal has an 8 minus 3x. Multiplied, okay. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Thank you. Multiplication. So we have 8 minus 3x 5n. Okay. So 3 times an unknown number minus 8. Okay. Thomas, 3x minus 8. There is no multiplication beside it with the variable. Okay, so absolute is saying 3n minus 8. We have 3n minus 8. Koi. Okay, like the fish. Oh, okay. Tyler, the multiplication with 3x will always happen before the negative 8. Okay, PEMDAS, got you. Ooh, thank you for this one. I understand, like 8 is greater than 3 times x. You're math 2 in GED, and I failed, but I'm not good at math. Heather, we're going to have to change that, baby girl. We're going to have to change that. Because I used to say the same thing. Now I'm a math teacher. That's God right there, because this was not the journey. I wanted to be like Whitney Houston, but that was not it. So, trust me, you can be able to do it, okay? All right, Al Phillips was saying 3x minus 8. Okay, so 8 minus 3x. Now, let's take this step by step. So we have 2 operations happening here. And when I say operation, I'm talking about adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Okay? Yes, please, make sure you message me, Heather, and I'll definitely do that. Okay? All right, China, how are you? All right? So we have 2 things going on, and we need to take it step by step. So we're saying 8 less than. Let's talk about that part. Less than means subtraction. Is less than, that's the inequality. A lot of people get that mixed up. I want to say, based on my students, a good 87%, if not 89%, always gets that wrong. Less than means subtraction. Is, if the word is was right here, that's the inequality sign. So since it's less than, that means I'm subtracting. What am I subtracting? So they're saying 8 less than. So 8 is the one that's going to be carrying that minus sign. So the 8 is actually going to be in the back end because it says 8 less than. So that means the 8 is going to carry the minus sign. Now, the second part that's supposed to come in front is 3 times a number. This is the part a lot of you guys were showing me. We are not using x for multiplication anymore. Once you get into algebra, that's gone because x is actually a variable. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to see 3xx. And I always say to the kids, we don't do porn here. Let it go. And then they're like, oh, giggle. And I'm like, okay. But you got to understand it. That's when it gets confusing. Because when we start talking about exponents, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, xx, that means that's x squared. And then you got the whole problem, all kinds of wacky pataki. Okay? So when you're doing them times, you can do it one of 3 ways. You can represent 3 times as 3 parenthesis x. You could do it as 3 times with the dot x, or you could just simply put the 3 and the x next to each other. This version you're going to see more of. So it's actually going to be 3x. Anytime you see a number and a variable next to each other like this is multiplication. Okay? Just while you pull that. Yes. Good to know. Awesome. All right. So this is how you represent it. So 3 less than a number 3 less than 3 times a number is that your 3n minus 8. Okay? Let's try another one. This is why I do these. Not just because I don't like you, because I don't know you. How can I not like you? You're probably gorgeous people. All right, here we go. Let's try this one. All right. Good. So the quotient of a number and 8. Let's try that. The quotient of a number and 8. After about 10 years. There you go. I know, just dusting it off. It's there. It's never left. Because I know if I said a negative times a negative, everyone says a positive. It's instinctive because that's been drilled in your head for so long. But you're like, what am I going to do with this information? I don't know. So n divided by 8, 8 divided by 8. There you go, Sherry. I see you, Beam. X divided by 8. Mija, yes, x divided by 8. Good. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Okay. Big Al, did I say that? N divided by 8. All right, but if it's 8 less than 3, pause, times a number. Whip. No, there's no pause there. You're trying to add a pause that's not there, and that's why you're going to keep getting it wrong. All right? So, the word less than, that's the separation. Less than is telling you that there's going to be 2 things you're going to have to subtract. One of them has to deal with the 8. The other one has to deal with the 3 times the number. There is no commas. There is no pause. You're trying to add pauses in there that doesn't need to be there. Okay, my dear? Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it. Okay? All right. Well, you can use X. It doesn't matter. I use the word N. I just use N because number begins with an N. That's it. It's all right. You can use any letter in the alphabet except for E and I because they're actual numbers. All right. So, key part, quotient of. So this is how you break it down. When you hear quotient of, product of, sum of, difference of, that means you're involved with 2 things. Quotient means division. So if I have my division or my factor sign, what am I dividing? That's the next part. The first number that you see will be the numerator, and the number that follows will be the denominator. So The quotient of, so that means I'm dividing two things. The first thing is a number. So since I don't know what that number is, I can use an n. And 8 is the second number, so that goes in my denominator. A lot of people want to use this division symbol. Did you know that this division symbol is basically the factor bar? They're just using a dot to represent your numerator and a dot to represent your denominator. It's not just a separate symbol all on its own. All right. So that's what we got. We have our n divided by 8. If you want to say your 1/8 n psalms, you can do that as well. Because 1/8 n is the same as saying n over 8. Because it's assumed in front of that n, there is a 1. Okay, so these two are interchangeable. Yep, yes you can. Yes you can. All right, so you can do your n over 8. All right, let's step it up. I think I got like 3 more, and then we're done for today. Let's try this one. The sum of two different numbers. The first one, yeah. Some right for the first time. Look at you. It's not for the first time. It's probably every time. And keep with the encouragement. Okay? I don't do very well with negative Nancy's. Because you got this. If I can do it, trust and believe, Lord have mercy, y'all can do it. So I'm telling you. All right, Southwind, we got x plus y. Mija, we got a plus b. Jar, how do you find a book on math terms? Oh, I'm going to actually show you. Give me a moment. Okay, Big Al saying a plus n. Okay. Okay, x plus y because we don't know either number. There we go, meme. All right. So one more. Anyone else want to put their little answers in? Okay. So basically what you're just telling me. We have the sum of two numbers. Like you said, we don't know what those two numbers are. So we have x and we have y. Or you have a and b or m and n. I don't know. But the key part is, what are we going to do with those two numbers? Right here, sum of. Sum is addition. Anytime they say sum of or the sum of, product of, we got two different things. So we're going to add those two bad boys together. Good. So we're not going to say anything. Okay. So about parents. Sure, you can. That will work. All right, so let's step it up. Last two. Okay, 5 less than the square of a number. Let's see what you get with this. Yes, minus is difference, Miss Psalms. Yes. Not a problem. For my tutoring is 87. Yep. But this is why I also do the books. But we can chat. Just making sure you send me a message after this. All right, so Big Al is saying x squared minus 5. You should say x squared minus 5. All right, hello, Skip. Southwind is saying x squared minus 5. Okay. So you can't find the square. I know. I know. Like, where is everybody getting the square? How'd you get the square? Share the wealth on how you guys got the square. Okay, one more. Give me one more. Okay, hold the 2. There you go. Thank you, Big Al. All right. Okay, so Dante, you're saying 4. All right, so let's take a look. So we're saying 5 less than the square of a number. So we got two things going on. We have our less than and we're squaring something. But the key part is the less than. Less than means subtraction. If it said is less than, that will be the inequality. But what's less than? 5 is less than. So that means the 5 is going to carry that negative. So now we're going to the second part, the square of a number. So how do I square a number? I have my base of the number and I raise it to the second power. Okay? So if you used X, that's fine. Never had people like so impressed with that. Okay? All right? So that's what you want to do. Okay? Let's try this one. This one's going to be very challenging. And I think you guys can handle it. Okay? This will be our last one. The quotient of 2 times a number increased by 5 squared. Use 3 for n. Well, how do you know you're using 3, Dante? I said quotient. I'm sorry. Quantity. Sorry. Anything so. Okay. Sorry. Quantity. I know. Thank you. Not completely awake yet. Or actually not falling asleep yet. There you go. Long night. Alright. So the quantity of 2 times a number increased by 5 squared. A number, just a check, right? What do you mean? Okay, Samuel, hello, welcome back. With the 2n plus 5 raised to the second power, Big Al said 2n plus 5 squared, Southwind 2x plus 5 squared. You're listening and learning. Okay, give me 2 more. Oh, there we go. Meme with 2x plus 5 raised to the second. So 3 squared is 9. Okay, minus 5 is 4. Okay, but where are you getting the 3 from? Okay. So we have 2x plus 5 squared. All right. So, saw a couple differences. So, we have basically the quantity of. So that means we're adding stuff together. But what are we adding stuff together? That means we're grouping. So this is the difference of when to use a parenthesis and when not to use the parenthesis. Okay? All right. So of 2 times a number increased by 5 squared. So there's a couple things happening here. So we have 2 times a number, and a lot of us got that right. So we have 2 times a number. Increased by, which a lot of you guys have correct, that is going to be our addition. What is it increasing? it's increasing by 5. But here's the thing. A lot of you guys had the 5 only being squared. The part that was missing is the quantity. Anytime you see that word quantity of, that means we need to put a parenthesis. Because we're enclosing, we're counting the 2 times a number increased by 5, but this whole entire expression is actually going to be squared. Okay? So when we're looking at the quantity of 2 times a number increased by 5 squared, the quantity, that's telling me I got to deal with a parenthesis. All right? Missing something. Okay. Then you had your 2 times a number increased by 5 and squared. I know for a fact someone's going to be like, well, there should be a comma here. Well, in the test, they're not going to put a comma there. And if you're going to sit there and try to dictate like, oh, it should be this, it should be that, what keeps going during that test? Time. Now you're taking a test that you're okay with, but now you're going against time. So if you're taking it as an ASVAT, which is going into the military, you got 1 minute to answer each question. If you're taking the GED or any high school equivalency test, you have 1 minute and 10 seconds per question. There's going to be some questions you're going to be able to know rather quickly, and then you could take that extra time and apply to some of the questions that you're like, let me stop and think. So that's a strategy that you need to take when you're taking this. Okay? Right? Yeah, Striker. Okay. All right, so let me take a look. Does it go against English Land? It does go against English Land. And guess what meme? They don't care. They don't care. They just care. Did you give me my A, B, C, or D? That's all they care about. Okay. Cool. Yes. Why is it not the squared quantity then? Nope, because they wanted it down there. That's what they wanted. See, you can analyze it all you want. They don't care. They just want, this is what we want. Go ahead and organize it. Guys, you have to understand, they do a lot of the verbiage to kind of separate the haves from the have-nots. So once you kind of understand what they're actually doing and you get your answer, you click it, you bubble it, and you move on. All right? After the word 5, then got it. I'm learning. Okay, got you. To it, got you. Or could it be 25? But see, here's my thing. You're just squaring the 5. Who said that? Scooter? You're just squaring the 5, and that's not what it's saying. You're not just squaring the 5. You're squaring the 2n and the 5. So if we ever solve this as if they said find the expansion of this will go into multiplying binomials. Guys ever heard of the word FOIL? First, outer, inner, last? When you square, you have to square everything. So that means your base is the 2n plus 5. And the exponent's job is to tell you how many times we got to multiply that base to each other. Twice. So then you would have to do FOIL from there. Okay, so we really have to understand that concept. Welcome to the world of this. It's just like arithmetic reasoning. Arithmetic reasoning is just basically word problems. That's all, and we were just doing that earlier. I know. Boo. Okay. You're new here. Who are they? They are the ones that create the test. They're the ones that you have to impress in order for you to pass so you can move on to the next part. Okay? Posing the question. There you go. All right? So, for the most part, okay, let me see if I can talk to you and not be so rude. All right. For the, get off. for the most part, when it comes to taking any of those standardized tests, GED, ASVAT, Accuplacer, TEAS test, HESI test, ACT, SAT, any of those whatsoever, you have to learn, especially when you're looking at the arithmetic, reasoning, any of those word problems, you have to break it down step by step. Don't look at it as a novel. Let me read the whole problem. No, you got to look at it as a detective. Because in most of the time, they will give you an equation. If they give you an equation, more than half of the problem is done. All you have to do is look at the question and say, all right, what do I need to plug into this equation? And they'll say, find the t. And you're like, okay, so that means I need to find what m is. And you go and you search, oh, m is this. Plug it in, solve. Save you one, a lot of time. Two, when you read, you're trying to absorb everything. It doesn't matter that Karen is about to take a test. Congratulations, Karen. Good job. No one cares. We just care about how we're going to break it down, how we're going to set it up to figure out what is Karen missing or whatever the question may be. Because always go to the question so you know what to look for. Exactly mean. Exactly. So this is the whole thing, because a lot of people, when they see a word problem, one, you get overwhelmed. Two, you start freaking out, and then all of a sudden your brain's like, I need to save you. Let's shut it down. And you can't. Because especially the GED, a lot of the word problems, anything dealing with slope, anything dealing with equation of the line, anything dealing with factoring, anything dealing with volume, surface area, are basically your 4-point questions. Okay? Those are your 4-point questions. And a lot of you guys, if you're not passing it and you're within the, I missed it by 12 points or less, it's because you keep skipping those questions. If you can get 3 of those bad boys, you'll pass. You'll pass. You just need 3 of them. So that means you need to try to practice. Not practice, but sometimes you need someone to help break it down to you. That's why I stay up at nights and I put these books together. This is Algebra at Your Pace. It's not just a regular workbook. You have a video connection to it. You scan the QR code, and then what you do is you follow along. I start from the very beginning, okay? So I start with the very beginning. So you got the types of numbers, your real numbers. Remember, the irrational and irrational numbers, they always put at least 1 or 2 questions on both GED and ASVAT for those type of questions. Then you can write down your notes. Then also I have, wow. Let's try that. Also have like you're adding, subtracting integers. If you're not good with it, multiplying, dividing integers, multiplying, dividing fractions, decimals. Okay. Also square roots as well as exponents. All of that is attached. Yep. My videos are attached to different levels. So right now, this one is level 1, which is the integers. Actually, let me show it the other way because I feel weird this way. Let's show it this way. There we go. Okay, so you have your volume 1 with all that. So now you can see I give you space for you to write your notes so you don't have to worry about writing or getting a notebook. Here's another space for you to put your practice in. So after you watch the videos, write down the notes. Okay, square roots is the last one. And then I give you a mini quiz to assess yourself. Did you do okay with those concepts? But then sometimes we just forget certain things. So I also have a lot of the references. Okay, pay for videos, just bought, volume 1. You pay for videos, $5 each. Okay, but it's all the part of the whole thing. Okay, so now you have your decimals, you have your fractions, you have all of this. And if you don't know your multiplication table, because guess what? Nowadays, your students, your kids don't know how to read a multiplication chart. Just want to let you know that. So if you're going to like, oh, let me buy a composition book because I know my child needs to know the multiplication table, they don't know how to read it. They don't. Go ahead, ask your kid. Do you know how to read this? What am I looking for? Trust me. Okay, so that's why I have it designed that way. Then here, hey, take a look. adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, equals, inequalities. These are the operations that we're just talking about. These are the most used words that they use in all word problems, so it helps you set it up. Okay, so all this is in there, plus I throw in, some extra practice with the exponents. So these are like flashcards. They look like this. Okay, so if I just pull one out, so this side is the question, this side is the answer. So now you get to practice. If you're a teacher, hey, you can actually use these as a station work for next year. I know school just ended, but you're still in teacher mode. Okay, what can you get for them for next year? So then if you want to, you can get these. This could be a practice thing. This would be great for homeschool parents as well. So that's volume 1. Volume 2, same thing. You got one QR code because I got wise. So you have one QR code to scan, and it will give you the playlist of all the instruction of everything inside this one book. And if you haven't noticed, it's pretty thicker than a Snicker. So if anything, you have like a lot more word problems as we progress. Talk about scientific notation, talk about the least common multiple and the greatest common factor. A lot of people get those two things wrong. Okay, right now, awesome, do it. Factor, okay, divisibility test. They always ask 2 or 3 of those. And plus, it's also good to know this so you can factor, so you can reduce fractions. All right, so then you have your relations and functions. Then again, I give you resources in the back, and also I give you a quiz in the back. All right, so even percentage word problems. Not overwhelming. Okay, your son's 11? Perfect. Because a lot of kids, they really need to get with the basic concepts. If it's too much, I do have my videos on there breaking it down. So this is why this weekend is going to be great. Because not only you will get the digital copies of Volume 1, Volume 2, you will also get a copy of the practice exams. All of this for $27. Yeah, all of this. 210 questions. You will also get like a video walkthrough of the extra practice problems that you see here for the extra practice problems and the quiz. You will actually get me breaking down step by step how to do this. All right, because you have that video connection, and the reason why you could do this at any time. If you want to do it at 6 o'clock in the morning, have fun. If you want to do it at midnight, enjoy. I'm not here to break your stride, but if anything, you can always get that tutor that you need. You can get me at any time. All right, so all of this is on sale for $27. So where do you go? You go to my profile. As soon as I can get it. All right, so if you go to my profile, which a lot of you guys have already found, which is awesome, go to the only link that I have. Okay, right here. That will be my stand store. So when you click on that, it'll take you directly. You can take a mini tour, 3-minute video if you want to watch that. Then if you are not sure what you want to do, hey, I have a free skills check that if you want to take, you could just start here, and then all of a sudden it's going to be free. I just need your information just as usual, but you could take a look at what it is before you even attempt it. So that's perfectly fine. Now, and then look, you can always go back. So it's not like, oh, if I click it, I'm immediately go to paying for it. No, you need to read what it is. So now for here, here's my Juneteenth summer sale. Whoop, psych. All right, we're going to try that again. That's what happens when you got fat fingers. That's all right, working on it. All right, Juneteenth summer sale. This is what's going on for the $27. If you click on it, it'll actually give you the run through. It's normally at 70, and I'm usually doing it for like 42. But here's my thing. This weekend and this weekend only, You can get access to it. If you're not sure where to start and you're trying to get your GED, this will be the best investment ever. You'll get your first two, then also you get that practice book, and then you also get a video walkthrough of volume 1. All right. So take a look. You can take a look at all of the stuff, all the axes. If you're like, hey, I do ASVAT, do you have anything just for me to practice on? Of course I do. I have the ASVAT math practice. Now, what the ASVAT math practice, it is just a whole bunch of practice tests on there because I have all my books individually. If you want to purchase an individual, you can do that. But go ahead, scroll away. All right. So again, if you want to get instant access to all these things, they're all available. But the only thing that is going to be on sale right now is going to be my summer starter. And that's a huge value. So take advantage of that. All right. So if you do have any questions whatsoever, let's see if we can break down. Okay. All right. I think that's about it. All right. So right now it's not letting me hide, which, okay. That'll work. Oh, there we go. All right. Too much clicking around. All right, Miss Audrey, do you know how many math questions there are in the math portion of the ASVAT? So for the ASVAT portion, there is 3 quizzes. Each of them is like 40 questions. No, I lie. One's 40, one's 40, one's 32, and then I add in an extra quiz which focus on factoring. Because that seems to be increasing in a lot of the ASVAT, especially the ones you start increasing a little bit. They started doing a little bit more factoring ones. So let's add it together. 40, 40, 32, and what's that factor? The gift quiz is a 20. How many questions is that? You have the books on the A as well? Yes, I do, Jar. Yep. Unfortunately, I can't say the word because TikTok will give me a violation. But yes, all of my physical books are on the A. That word, okay. On the actual ASVAT test, yep. Oh, on the actual test? Oh, I thought you meant on this one. Now, the ASVAT, the way it goes is a progression. So it depends on how good you are. The numbers or not the numbers, the different types of questions will increase. So first it will start off with basic adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Then it increases to fractions, decimals, percents. Then it'll do a little bit of percentage word problems. Then it will do the change of percents. And then after the change of percents, I think some people say it started getting to linear stuff like slope, equation of the line, graphing, linear inequalities, and then it starts progressing. So it depends on what you're doing. The better, and once you start seeing volume, you're doing really well. Like once you start seeing volume, you're like in the upper 50s. And once you start seeing factoring and then composites, that means you're in the 60s and 70s. So that's how they do with the whole progression. 115. There you go. Let's see. Does the practice exam book come with the complete set? What do you mean? With the whole volume 1, volume 2? Or do you want the whole shebang? Because the whole shebang, that is like all 10 of my books. Plus it comes with the ASVAT practice book and this practice book and a complete video library. So that's 157. That's the one close to the bottom. So that's like the complete thing. And when I say a complete video walkthrough, that means every single solitary book that I am giving, I have done a video for, step by step. So it's like literally you are having me move into your home without actually physically having me move into your home. All right, I'm sorry. Which practice book was I in? Which practice books I was in the page purchasing? Which practice books you were in the page purchasing? I'm trying to figure out. I don't know which one you were in. So it probably was this one, which is a part of the sale. Okay. So this one has all, has all 6 full length tests in here. So you can practice away. Can you show it again? I didn't see you show the books that's included. Yes, Miss Audrey. Yes. What's happening? I'm just seeing my names flashing up. All right, so let me show. Boom. All right. So for the sale, we have our volume 1, our volume 2, and the practice exam books. So this is under the summer sale when it says the Juneteenth summer sale. So you're going to get the digital copies of these 3 books plus the video walkthrough of volume 1. Okay, all that for $27. Okay, now if you want the complete set, that's called my video support. That's Math by Audrey video support system. Okay, so that is going to be your volume 1, your volume 2. I only have so many of the books. Volume 3 is going to be solving equations. Volume 4 is solving linear equations. So like if you're solving 1-step, 2-step, multi-step equations, that's here. If you're looking at linear equations, then you have your inequalities. So that means your slope, your equation of the line, looking at graphing, okay, following the 2 points. All of that is in here. Then you have your inequalities, your system of equations, your absolute values. That's all in here. Did you give the solution to the last problem you gave? Yes, I did. Yep. Did I give the post? Last problem I gave. Yes, it was this. 2n plus 5 squared. And this was the original. Okay. All right. So then after this, it gets a little more intensive. So for the next volumes, we're starting to look at operation of polynomials. So adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing polynomials. And then we're also doing some factoring pieces. Okay. So then all of a sudden we go into rational functions. Then we're going into radical functions. But if you're 11-year-old, I would say this will be me if I was to do it. I wouldn't do all 10. I mean, he's going to see the other stuff later, but I don't want to freak him out. So if I were you, you're so welcome. I would go with the sale. I would do the summer sale. And then there's another one that says foundation systems. That's the remaining. So it's basically all 5 of these books. So this part is for the sale, the first 2 books and the practice. And if you get the foundation piece, this will help you up to your 11-year-old. Because I don't want to overwhelm your kid with the second part, with the polynomial, unless he is there. Okay, that's the only reason why I would do that. So you're purchasing the 1 through 10 package. Okay, all right. All right, so are we okay? I don't want to overwhelm. It's 1-1. It's 1-1. He's good. Okay. All right. Now, again, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask me a question before you purchase something. Okay? If you do have any questions, ask me. Send me a message. Go ahead and go to my profile. So if you go up here, if you go to my profile pic, just click on that and just send me a message. I'm going to reach out to you guys today. So it's like, give me a couple minutes, and then, because I had to let the cats out, and then I can actually offer that. How often are you teaching on live like this? Not too often. I'm changing my hours because it's summer. I try to come in the evenings, but everybody's outside. So with everybody being outside, Because that's the one thing. I don't want you to rely on my lives because my lives are very sporadic. It's not consistent. That's why the books is going to be the more essential piece for you. I just want to make sure that the practice books was included. Oh yeah. Yes. Yep, the practice book will be included. Yeah, the practice books is usually included with all of my stuff. Because you need to practice. You gotta practice what you do. All right. Okay. Any other questions? So I might be on a little bit later this afternoon, but I'm not going to be doing any more evening ones. But it might be like a repeat of what we did today. Just saying, because it's a lot of work. Okay. All right. All right. So if you have any questions or if you're ready to purchase, or maybe you might want to try one of the skill set just to see how things go, just go ahead and go to the link in my profile. Just do that right now. Don't forget to follow me here. And if you want to see the replay, give me some time to download the replay of this, and I'm going to put it on my YT channel with Math by Audrey. What does it mean about the walkthrough video? So that means literally I have my Zoom screen and I am solving the problems step by step. So it's like you have me working out the problems. So if your child or you get stuck, you're like, oh God, how does she do that again? Now you can just say, oh, okay. Oh, that's how she did it. And then you take it from there. What's the difference between the 115 and the 157? The 157 gives you everything. So that's going to give you all 10 of my books, both practice books, and all of my video walkthroughs. So let's say the practice book, the video walkthrough, I did each and every one of these problems. All of them, all 210 of them. And I recorded myself breaking down each of these. And then you can actually see the video of me breaking them down. So when you get stuck, you don't sit there like, how did she get that answer? Because answer keys will just give you a number. But now you can actually see me breaking it down just like how I did here. And you're like, oh, okay, got you. Head sold. Okay. So she's like, yes, awesome. Because that's the thing. When you get stuck, you want some kind of reassurance. And instead of just trying to find the answer in the back of a book, and most of the time we don't understand what's going on back there. But now you got a video to show you everything. All right. Yes. Perfect. Oh, thanks, Big Al. You're just so awesome with this. All right. So if you guys need me, go ahead and just send me a message. I'll get back to you. And it's going to be from me. It's not going to be from anyone else. Just send me a message. Tell me what test you're taking. And also, like, if you're planning on taking it, when. And what have you been doing to prepare for it? Like, are you just watching videos? Are you looking at some PDFs? I really want to know. Because now we need to get you in a plan. We're not going to waste any more time anymore. You have wasted enough time. Okay? All right. Psalms, what do we have? What do you recommend for beginners in math? I'm level 2 and doing essential ed, but need assignments. Okay. You're so welcome, Ralph. I would say get the starter. I'm going to be truthful. I would get the starter pack because I start from the very beginning when it comes to the different types of numbers, when it comes to adding and subtracting with the integers. That's going to be the precise. And I'm going to be truthful. You are going to want to get the Juneteenth sale. I would get it. That's like $27. Is after that, it's going back up to $42. And then probably at the end of the school, after the summer, it's going right back up to the $70. So I would get that as soon as possible. Okay. Although my son is 11, is it okay? You said teens. Yep. It's good for teens too. Everyone needs a refresher. And especially if they're trying to grow up into the whole concepts of other maths, like other branches of math, algebra is the core. So if your other person is going into geometry, this is perfect. They need to understand the algebra because there's tons of algebra inside the geometry. There's tons of algebra into calculus. There's tons of algebra into pre-calculus. So it goes on and on. So it's great as a refresher. So you can just buy one for the house and have everybody use it. I know. All right. Let's see. Psalm Lady, did that answer your question? Lady with Grace? Did I answer your question? Because a lot of people tend to get stuck on where to start. And that's why I put these packages together. And I was like, you know what? I want to celebrate education. I want to make that getting in through the door a little bit easier for people. That's the reason why I did the summer sale. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, any more questions? Okay, perfect. So make sure you follow me. If you have any questions, if you want to ask me a personal question, or not personal question, but like a private question about like what test you're going to be taking, how should you prepare for it, just message me. Just message me. I mean, I will lead you in the right direction. If you're thinking about TEAS tests, I always mention a blessed RN. If you're thinking about getting your TEAS test and you need help with dosage calculation, that's the woman for you. Hands down. She knows her stuff and she's an RN, so she'll know exactly what you are going to need and how you're going to get yourself into situations. Okay? FTCE, kindergarten, sixth grade, which books? I would say the early on, I would say the sales books. Because the first two books, anything from, maybe not kindergarten, but like for anyone that's going into like basic, that's dealing with fractions and decimals and percentage, I would say like the first two books, especially order of operations for your fourth and fifth graders. Okay, so if you want to get the sales, go ahead and get the sales book. And it comes with practice. The practice might be a little too advanced for them, but it's always nice. You can pull information from that. All right. So it is the Juneteenth summer sale, the summer starter. Now, if you also liked the cards that I did, I almost forgot to mention about them. Can't be leaving out here. If you actually like the cards that I did, I actually have a book for that. That's the verbal to algebraic expressions. So if you like the cards that had what the answers on there, this is a matching cards. And I have tons of matching cards as well. So like the whole thing with the exponents, I think I sold that separately as well, but it comes with the first volume. But if you want it separate, you can. I also have some other cards which I'm probably going to start endorsing soon, which is my matching cards when it comes to order of operations, okay, solving equations. We're going to do a couple of those probably in the afternoon. And then also your simplifying, your order of operations, your evaluating, and your solving books. Okay. Hey, Fight Doctor, how are you? All right, just wrapping up. All right, but if you have any questions whatsoever, go ahead and message me. I know I started way early, so it seems like maybe around 9 o'clock I should come on, like 9, maybe like 9:15. I'm just playing around with morning times. It seems like I get more people around those times. All right, have a lovely rest of your day. I'll probably see you sometime later on this afternoon. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing the evenings anymore. All right, take care and enjoy your day. Get outside, get some vitamin D.